Hey guys, how's it going today? So today I'm going to do a video on. I've been wanting to do this video for actually quite some time. I just haven't been able to get around to it, and we've just been seeing it skyrocket lately. Actually, I've been in this company for years, and as you can see, it's just been on a huge trend. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get out a video before their earnings today, but really not much has changed. We just basically saw more positive results out of Lockheed. There's a lot of information that just came out today. I don't actually have access to the financials. Um, but yeah, I mean, you can look this kind of stuff up. But basically, what they were saying was it was an awesome year. So the sales were over 51 billion. That's an 8% increase over 2016. Um, and then they keep talking about that they're broad-based growth in each one of their four business areas. And then the leading thing, and I think this is key here, is the increase in 8% for the F-35 program. Um, and then they also talk about their fire control business area, which is going to be pretty big right now, I think, with all of the concern about North Korea and such. So regardless, I mean, this being a big U.S. government contractor, I think this will continue to be huge, especially with the Trump administration in. These are some things that I actually took out of the Q4 statement of last year. So I don't have the new one yet, but basically there's a lot of garble in here. But basically, the president submitted a budget proposal to Congress. So this is basically the defense for 575 billion, and this is actually 52 billion above some of the acts that were introduced in the past. And what I was reading, basically, the House and the Senate have passed versions of this bill as well, which is well above. And then when we're actually looking at some of the information that came in today, I mean, we were looking at about 500 some billion. So now it looks like the bill that was passed was 626 billion. So I mean, this is a huge amount of money that the government uses, and obviously it's not all Lockheed; it's some Boeing, which I'm going to get into as well. Um, but it's a huge amount, and it just shows you what the U.S. government is going to be focusing on. It's going to be different companies, of course, um, but it just shows the potential for Lockheed Martin. Because some of my questions was, is this too high? Is this gone too high too quick? But looking at its PE, it's only at a 28 PE. Where you look at Boeing here, it's quite similar in many ways, but it's a little higher, a little more expensive, 31 PE. It doesn't have quite as much as a dividend as Lockheed, but they're a lot bigger, right? So it's easier to see, and quite frankly, in my experience, smaller companies grow faster. Um, and there's Boeing right there. Um, but if you look at the financials here, so this is again, like I said, last quarter for Lockheed Martin. So it's actually highest margin area is its aeronautics. So if you look at that in here, you don't really have to look through all this. But products and services. Okay, I think I'm at the wrong area here. Uh, Looking down here. So this guy gives you a little idea how you can look through their financials. Here's aeronautics. So that was the last quarters ended. There you go. So it was roughly about they have about 10.8% margin. I found somewhere on their aeronautics, which the F-35 is a huge part of. Like I said, what they were talking about in their conference calls. Next is the fire and missile controls, as we can see, is something really big right now when you actually look at some of the defense um, mitigation strategies that are put in place in South Korea and some of the U.S. bases. That's huge, and I don't think we've seen. I mean, going back another year before this, too much of an increase. So maybe we'll see that on the newest financials here, but I think that's going to be huge for them too, and the planes as well. And of course, their space system is the weakest. But many people don't know that actually they on the space here they're going to be help develop the Orion spacecraft. So that's something that's going to be utilized for Mars. For those interested in space, and I believe Elon Musk is even involved in that. Don't quote me on that one. Um, that could be something that drives them as well. So I think they're stronger financially. They don't make quite as much on the top line, but they're about the same on the bottom line, which is pretty amazing. So if you want to look at, here we go, let's go back to Lockheed. This is just a quick way to curate the information here. If we look on an annual basis for 2016, because all of 2017 wasn't out at this time, right? But we're just doing this for purposes of demonstration. You're looking at about 47 billion, and they're pulling in about net income of 5 billion. Boeing, I like to think Boeing is one of their closest competitors because they have a lot of defense as well. They're making almost double, well, actually over double, and they're still only pulling in around less, right? So, the margins, as you can tell, are a lot sweeter on Lockheed, and I like margins as well as many other people. So this is Lockheed, and then this is Boeing at the same time period, and they mainly focus on commercial airplanes. And the way I look at this is it can be kind of finicky at times, right? Because we have, right now we're actually seeing fuel go up a bit. We see, potential of raising fuel prices, which can, it could hint at weaker future sales, after hedging is considered, if prices rise too fast. And then there's a lot of competitors, especially with just the news the other day that basically the Trade Commission in the States agreed with Bombardier, the Canadian company, on Boeing trying to block the sales of their new C Series in the States. They basically just lost that, and the stock didn't really respond. Boeing stock really didn't respond, and quite frankly, the Bombardier jets are more fuel efficient. And I mean, I think I think Boeing is amazing. I think that they have amazing planes, but there's just a potential for more issues. Um, and last quarter, 60% of their revenue that I'm showing here basically came from the commercial aircraft, right? So, and then it comes down to basically which one has the higher margins. So that's kind of the way I look at it. And you could delve through these financials and look for every little thing, and you could make the argument that these companies aren't that similar, and there's many other defense contractor companies. But I thought it was important to do a video on this one because I think given what we're seeing and what I've read, especially when you're looking at a relative valuation perspective to other companies, this is a very attractive buy. And I found it a very attractive buy, years ago, and it's turned out to be great. And it also has a 2.28% dividend that might be up here as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how it trades because it's really been on a tear lately. I mean, you look at even, let's see, in the last month, it's about 10% in just the month, right? So, and I really haven't because I really haven't looked at Boeing because I find Lockheed a little more attractive. I'm not too sure what it's been doing, but it's been very strong too. So it's up even more, right? So that's something to keep in mind as well. But I just wanted to do a video on this today, guys. I'm really curious if you guys have any questions or concerns, comments about this. There's almost a lot of secretive information with Lockheed, because of certain divisions of their company, and there's a lot of secret spending with the government, and then you got to worry about the debt ceiling and such. But I think it's one of the most interesting companies to follow, considering what's going on in the world right now. So anyway, that's it for today, guys, and I will see you in the next one.